Hey guys, so let's see, time for an update. I'm gonna do a life update and then a baby update in the same video. So when I edit it, I'll put the time frame of when the baby update starts, because I know some people might only want to watch for the baby update, but then a lot of you have known me for a long time and probably want to hear how my life is going as well. So number one, I'm out of breath and congested, or you may hear some congestion. Dan and I came down with upper respiratory infections, and so that's been a pain. Definitely had it over Christmas and just did not feel very good. But we're on the mend, we're getting better, our energy levels are coming back. I got a little bit worried just because this is the first time I've been sick in being pregnant. So I called when I first started feeling bad. I called the Ask a Nurse, and she said I could take Robitussin DM and Tylenol, and yeah, just take it easy and don't panic, and so it's okay. I mean, I definitely feel like with pregnancy, sometimes your senses are heightened, and so being that I felt so terrible, like I felt really terrible, and I was having thoughts like, oh God, I'm never gonna feel better. How are we gonna do this if we both get sick and we have a baby? But we'll get through it, I know, but I definitely was falling into that woe is me pity party, I will admit. So yeah, where to begin? Friday the 23rd was the anniversary of my dad's passing away. So I went to Eugene for the day and spent it with my family, and that felt really good. I was starting to not feel well on that day, so it was a little bit tough, but and definitely by the time I was driving home, I live about 2 hours away from Eugene. The time I was driving home, I was definitely feeling it and feeling pretty rough. And then I was going to go back down to Eugene on Sunday for Christmas Day, but I was feeling absolutely sick that day, so I didn't go. And Dan worked. He didn't call in. He didn't want to be that person that calls in Christmas Day, because then someone else would have to stay. So he worked Christmas Day and Christmas Eve, and then he called in that Monday and Tuesday, and we went to urgent care that Tuesday. We tried to go Monday, but they were on holiday hours, and they were really backed up, so we knew we wouldn't get seen that day. So yeah, but I'm glad to be feeling better. So yeah, Christmas is bittersweet because we were just so low energy. We did get to go spend some time with his mom that morning, and felt bad because we were so quiet and just, didn't feel well. But I think she understood, and him and I got to spend Christmas morning together, and he went to work that day. I'm sorry. I just got off work, so I'm still a little bit in work mode. So as far as our gifts, I had bought Dan a larger TV, and then a baby carrier for his birthday and for Christmas, and a couple little gifts like some slippers and some sweatpants, things like that. Excuse me. I like to buy him funny t-shirts, but he's told me to stop because he has too many now. So I bought funny pants. They were at Walmart, and they were fuzzy with gnomes on them. And then he surprised me with a guitar. And then he also bought my glider that I'd wanted. So my glider rocker. And that just arrived yesterday, and he got it all put together. And so with the guitar, funny story, and I don't think I've talked about it on YouTube yet, but in September, mid-September, right around that time was when we conceived, and I was really, really into songs with electric guitar. I just was really feeling it for whatever reason. And so like Queen and Green Day, and I would just listen to these songs over and over and be like, you know, when those times came on, and he would just laugh at me. And so I was like, I think I want to learn to play the guitar. And I was having all these fantasies of, you know, us like having like this little jam session. And then it kind of like, you know, that phase went down. And then we find out that I'm pregnant, and then I'm like thinking, what if it was the baby, like she's gonna be, or he, who knows, is, excuse me, gonna be this little rocker person. And now I'm getting hiccups. So yeah, anyway, it's just a funny story to me, and because it was kind of not my usual type of music I listen to. And so anyway, so he surprised me with a guitar, and it's an acoustic guitar, and he said that he hopes that I'll learn to play lullabies for our baby. So I haven't really played with it a whole lot, especially because neither of us really felt very well in the last few days. I worked yesterday and today, so it's only been yesterday and today that I've started feeling more like my normal self. And yeah, as far as with Friday and the anniversary of my dad passing away, like I said, I went to Eugene for the day, spent most of the day with my brother, and then after, I dropped him off back off at his house. And there is a restaurant in the Eugene area called Cafe Yum, Y-U-M-M, and I've talked about it in the past, but I like that restaurant. And they have a restaurant there in the hospital, the local hospital there. And I used to work in that hospital, spent a lot of time in that hospital. I had my surgeries in that hospital. Dad has had his surgeries in that hospital. So I've always felt really comfortable there. And I knew I wanted Cafe Yum for dinner. And so I decided I'm going to go there to the hospital. And, you know, normally I could have gotten it to go or eaten it in the car. And I just felt like I want to be there and just have some quiet time and reflect about my dad. So I ordered dinner and went to the third floor, which is where basically it's like short stay surgery, so where all the families wait for people that are having surgery. And there was only one family in there. This was later at night, maybe like 7-ish. And so I sat down and ate and just quietly said, "Dad, sit with me, you know, walk with me, be with me." And I think I just needed that time. And I'm so glad that I had it. I feel such an energy in that hospital, and not a bad energy, but I know people go through all sorts of emotions there. That's the very room that my family found out when I went to have my gastric bypass, and they found that mass. You know, they were sitting right there years before, 2012, and so it felt good. I feel like I felt him there with me, and I just needed that time to just cry a little bit. I wrote kind of a longer Facebook post than I normally do, and just kind of cried. And you know, the other family that was there wasn't really like in my eyesight or anything. I think they were kind of on the other side of the wall, so you know, I wasn't bothered, and it was good. So I was able to get back on the road and get home. And so even though it was a long day and I wasn't feeling well by the end of it, it was a good day too. So yeah, I wasn't expecting to cry in this video. But anyway, I'm glad I did. Other life updates. I think the rest of them are kind of, baby related. So I'm going to go ahead and start the baby update here. I'm 15 weeks pregnant today, and according to my app, it says the baby is the size of an avocado. Feeling good other than being sick, but as far as pregnancy goes, I think I've been really lucky. I don't have any nausea anymore. Like I said before, my past updates, I had a little bit of nausea in the beginning, but really not even that much, and I haven't thrown up. A common one that they talk about is smells, having an aversion to smells. I feel like I am noticing that. Not so much an aversion where I'm like, oh my God, I'm like freaking out. It's just I notice like a smell a little bit more. I'm more sensitive to it. The fridge is where it's probably the worst for me, because I feel like it travels up to the freezer. And so when I get ice for ice water or iced tea or whatever, I feel like I can smell it on the ice and taste it, and that turns me off. So I actually bought, I want to say 2 or 3 boxes of baking soda and kind of put them in both, just trying to see if it helped. I bought around Thanksgiving, I bought cauliflower and broccoli and had it in the fridge. That was a bad mistake. I mean, it smelled so bad. It didn't even go bad. It's just the smell is really strong. So I feel like it's taken this long just to get that little faint smell out of the fridge. And even now, like, I opened it to get some ice and I'm like, what is in there? I gotta look in there and see if there's something. It's not even rotting food. It's just, I think like we get lazy sometimes. We'll cover something with foil rather than a lid. I think we need to do a better job at like having stuff sealed tight, because I can just smell it. We went to our OB appointment on Wednesday, and that went really well. So poor Dan got upset because she was trying to find the heartbeat with the Doppler. Now I have read that sometimes with people my size, or the baby position, you know, that they can have a hard time hearing it. And that's, sometimes people will buy Dopplers at home to hear the heartbeat, and that's why I haven't done that yet, because I don't want to get myself all upset if I can't hear it. So I kind of knew that ahead of time. Dan didn't know that. We've never talked about that. And so she's trying to hear the heartbeat with the Doppler. It's not working. I'm not really looking anywhere but at the ceiling. He said he was watching her face, which was also making him nervous. So she stopped and she said, okay, I'm just going to get the ultrasound machine. And so she wheels in the ultrasound machine, and I'm far enough along they could do it over the top of the stomach versus vaginally. And I work in an imaging center, so I knew you really need to have a full bladder so that they can see through the bladder to get to the uterus. And so I kind of in the back of my mind was like, okay, I'm not going to go to the bathroom just in case, and I'm glad. So she did the ultrasound, and there's the baby right away, and baby was moving around. The way the baby was positioned, it was down, like almost facing down. So we got to see, you know, the back of the head, the spine. Couldn't really see the heartbeat on the screen very well. I mean, I'm sure if we would have like moved the baby around manually, we could have, you know, flipped he or she over. But like the doctor said, you know, baby's moving around. I mean, we could see movement. So she said there's a heartbeat, obviously, if there's movement. So Dan was reassured quickly. Poor guy. Like I said, I really, like, my gut feeling wasn't telling me anything bad. So I was okay, but he was upset. And so afterwards he's just like, you know, trying to breathe. So here's something interesting. You know, I'm not gonna overanalyze it, but I have lost, sorry, there's a hair. I have lost weight since getting pregnant, and it's not intentional. From my start weight at the pregnancy, I've lost 21 pounds. I don't know why, and I'm 15 weeks. However, the bulk of it was this last month, and frankly, I think it was the last week because I've been sick. So I haven't really had much of an appetite. And so I've lost 11 pounds in the last month alone. And the doctor, who's not my normal doctor, was concerned, and she said, you know, that's a lot of weight to lose. And I tried to explain to her my history. You know, I used to weigh over 500 pounds. My weight can fluctuate 5 pounds in a day, at least. You know, you go to the bathroom, you lost 5 pounds. I swear. I mean, I've never, and that's why I don't focus on the numbers, because it would just play games with my head. So she kind of started in that she wanted me to weigh myself at home. And I kind of paused, and I said, well, the reason I don't do that is because of my history with obsession with numbers. And I don't know that it would really help anybody, help us, you know. She said, well, no, okay, you're right. Maybe not have you weigh in. And I said, I think once a month at these appointments is good. If you need me to come in twice a month, you know, to get a weight check, I can. But she said no. And like I'm telling you, I don't think that, I mean, certainly I'm not living like I'm on a diet. I'm not in a diet frame of mind. I think it's just, it happens sometimes. And especially with women, from what I read and from what I see in message boards, from women that are my size, weight loss does happen. And my stomach has gotten bigger. So it's your body shifting weight around. And I understand that. So like I said, I'm not freaking out about it. I did share with Dan that with being sick, one of the first thoughts that, well, not first thoughts, but a thought that came to my mind was, I haven't been eating, I'll lose weight. And that for me is a thought that is like an eating disorder behavior to me. You know, I don't like thinking that way, and I don't like the idea that I would want to be sick as a payoff of losing, you know, the payoff being losing weight. As well as then you add on being pregnant, I was feeling very guilty about that thought. So I did have times where I didn't have an appetite, where I'm like, you need to eat. You need to eat something for the baby. Because as much as my body, if I weren't pregnant, you know, I could live off my, you know, fat and muscle and whatever. I don't know that the baby can do that, really. So the baby needs food and nutrients. And so that's just something I'm putting out there as just a check-in. It felt good to share it with Dan, and just acknowledge, like, I have that thought and that I don't want to, you know, entertain that thought. So trying to think of anything else with the OB appointment. They are going to call me to do an anatomy scan and then check the gender. That's going to be between 18 and 20 weeks. So our next OB appointment is February 3rd or 2nd. I don't know. It's that last week of January. Half of it's January and then the very beginning of February. So I think the 2nd maybe is a Thursday. So yeah, we'll see what the doctor has to say then. Yeah, I have been really lucky. I don't want to jinx myself, but I feel like things are going good. So, I mean, I know I'm not even halfway there yet, but I'm getting closer. So I'm gonna do a quick belly shot for you guys. I almost forgot. So I know it's still hard to tell sometimes. And these pants have a drawstring that I always tuck in, but I think you can kind of get the idea. Yeah, a little bit of a bump there. I wish I would have had some before pictures because I really used to be flatter here. So I have a little bit of a pooch showing. So yeah, I guess I will leave it at that. And thank you all for watching. And I hope you have a great new year. Happy 2017. Bye.